So, does your house have a BBD, a basic back deck? Maybe it's a big wood platform, a concrete patio, or a little courtyard. It's perfectly functional, but it doesn't really feel like you. That's how I felt about mine. For the longest time, outdoor spaces felt kind of generic to me because I didn't know how to bring the same personality and design that I love inside my house outside. But while finishing up the construction of my deck, I realized that I was looking at it all wrong. I wasn't designing a deck, I was designing another room, and that realization changed everything. Hey everyone, welcome back to Reissued. If you're new here, my name is Andrew. Today we are making some progress on my back deck build, adding railings and lattice work, building a pergola, and starting to get an idea of how this basic back deck is going to become a beautiful extension of my home. Webster's dictionary defines the BBD as any outdoor space that looks like it could belong to anyone. The BBD is not inherently bad, I'm just being dramatic because it's fun, but think about the difference between walking into a really generic room with a matching furniture set and a beautifully curated space that looks like it's been there for 100 years. With a well-crafted room, you don't really notice the design, you notice the experience. As I show you the progress we've been making over the past couple of months, I'm gonna walk you through the design decisions behind every step. So let's see what we can do to turn this BBD into a beautiful outdoor experience. So if you're not up to date on the deck makeover process so far, I will make a playlist. I will link that playlist down below. Basically, we were starting with a deck back here that was falling apart literally and didn't have a lot of design going on to start with. It was both too much and too little at the same time, with lots of stairs and these built-in benches and multiple levels. So far, we completely demoed the original deck and built a new deck that's all at one height. We raised it up to the height of the conservatory so you can walk out the doors and it feels like an extension of that space. In the process, we added a very sophisticated under-deck drainage system so that the area under the deck is completely waterproof and can act as some additional storage space, because everyone knows I need more storage space. And we left off in the early spring with a very shiny and new, albeit basic, deck. Now, if you've taken on any kind of major house projects like this before, you know that they can get very expensive very quickly. We've been back and forth to the hardware store so many times during this process, getting more wood, more tools, more hardware, and yeah, all that adds up. So let's free up a little extra money for this project with Vinted, which is the sponsor of today's video. If you've been following my channel at all since the start of this year, you know that I've been in a major decluttering place lately, trying to clear out stuff that I'm not using to make my space feel a little bit more open and streamlined. So as I'm finding items in my space that I don't need anymore, I'm listing them on Vinted. Vinted is super easy to use. I can just take a few pictures, create the listing, set my price, and get it up for sale. And the best part is Vinted has no selling fees, so every dollar you make on that sale goes right back in your pocket. Now, of course, I've been combing through my closet, finding items that I'm not wearing anymore, but one thing that I didn't realize until recently is that Vinted is not just for clothing. There's a whole lot of different kinds of items that you can sell on there. So I'm listing some home decor there as well. You know, I cleared some decor items off the shelves in the built-ins to replace them with books, and some of these items are super cool, but they just don't feel like they're as me anymore, so I'm gonna pass them along on Vinted. All of this feels very full circle, clearing up items in my house and selling them to spend more money on my house. But seriously though, it's very fulfilling with some of these items that are maybe not for me anymore. I feel like someone out there is gonna love them and find so much joy in them, so why not pass them along to the next person and make a little money in the process. So if you have clothes, accessories, or other items that you have around the house that you've been meaning to clear out anyway, follow me on Vinted at Reissued by Andrew and start listing your items there as well so that you can free up a little cash for your next upcoming project. And thank you so much to Vinted for sponsoring this video. So before you ask me in the comments, we don't have stairs to this deck yet. We haven't quite figured out the design for that yet, so stay tuned for that. But we're gonna get started this time with railings. Now, when it came to railing design, I wanted something that was gonna work with the existing architecture of my house, and that includes my front porch. The railings on the front porch are not my favorite construction method. They have the little spindles on the outside cut on an angle, and I think that looks a little bit cheap, but I wanted to mirror the same design so that these could work together as is. Maybe we'll change out the front porch railings at some point, but until then, we're gonna keep something that looks quite similar. Of course, I considered a lot more complex designs for this, but I think it's really important when building an outdoor space to ensure that it fits into the existing architecture of your home and whatever else you have going on. So let's build these railings. We have railings! This is so exciting. It's starting to look like something. Maybe kind of a builder grade deck, but we're gonna change that soon, I promise. Now, in order to steer us a bit away from the generic, I wanted to add some lattice privacy walls as well. I was really drawing inspiration from this image. I love how this looks. Something about this image to me felt very classic, but also had a bit of a Japanese inspiration to it. And with the spaces inside my house, I realized that I have all of these different design elements working together. I have some mid-century pieces, I have some Asian inspired pieces, and they all work together with that classic architecture that my house has. So why not do that on the back deck as well? So when adding architectural elements, I think it's a good idea to consider what will work with the existing architecture, but also introduce some new vocabulary that feels more specific to your design taste. Now, if you're building completely from scratch like me, do keep in mind safety codes. I would have loved for these lattice screens to go all the way down to the deck like they were in my reference image. I think that's a lot more beautiful. However, this lattice is not rated to be structural or whatever, so I guess if someone fell into it, they could fall off the deck, and this is quite high. So we did have to put full railings on the bottom. It's not my visual preference, but we gotta keep it safe. These screens are also going to introduce an element of privacy. Now, I'm personally not someone that's super into privacy in terms of someone's looking into my house. I post my house on the internet, so it doesn't scare me so much, but I have gotten a lot more into window coverings inside my house as a way of kind of completing the visual experience of a room. Everything can be really beautiful and put together, but if you look outside and see the neighbor's house or power lines, it kind of kills the mood, you know? So if we're wanting to build an immersive back deck experience, we want to consider the sight lines. I've mentioned before on my channel that I watched a video a while back about theme park construction. I know that sounds kind of random, but a lot of really high quality theme parks, if you're in Star Wars land at Disney World, you don't want to be looking across and see the castle or something. You want to be fully immersed in that Star Wars world. So a lot of really nice theme parks will grade the land or introduce privacy elements so that these experiences that are intended to be immersive are in fact immersive. So here on the back deck, I do have some larger foliage across the property line that's shielding me from the neighbors, but right here in the middle, you can see straight across. So adding these screens here is going to introduce an element of privacy, but it's going to create a better immersive experience where we can see out on the parts that are beautiful and cover up the things that are a little bit less beautiful. So I think this is a super relevant tip for a lot of outdoor spaces. If you have the concrete pad behind your condo, if you have the little courtyard behind your apartment, consider what things visually are killing the mood, whether that's neighbors or the AC unit. And maybe installing some planters or privacy walls or some larger plantings can help build a better atmosphere back there. Okay, so railings and privacy screens are in place. Railings were more on the basic end. Those privacy screens are starting to add a little bit of style and personality to this space. Now we're gonna move on to the pergola. So one thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately as I complete more rooms in my house is what I'm calling sort of a room-to-room gradient. I haven't heard anyone else talk about this before, but if there's a term for this, please let me know. I would love to know. Basically, we're looking to create some sort of continuity between spaces, so even if each room feels different, moving from one place to the next has kind of a smooth transition or gradient. So let me give you an example of this that I'm really proud of so far. So if you're in my living room, we have a lot of blue tones. It's it's a little bit lighter and brighter. Then you move through into the pantry, we're keeping those same blue tones, but we get super dark and moody. Then we move through into the kitchen, we're keeping the blue on the cabinets, but we're going light and bright, adding these wood tones. And then we complete the experience moving into the conservatory, keeping the same wall color as the kitchen, but introducing some more greens that work with the plants. So you see what I mean here? Each space has its own identity, but there are some connecting elements between rooms, whether that be the paint color or the flooring or the wood tones, so that moving through the space feels seamless. So this was a big disconnect when moving from the conservatory to the back deck, where you're moving from a space that feels light and bright but also cozy into a space that's like full sun, wide open, no architectural interest. So adding a pergola here that kind of matches the line of the conservatory inside is gonna make this area of the deck feel like kind of an extension of the conservatory and add some shade and some dimension that will tie those spaces together. Another thing to be thinking about here to steer away from the generic into something more custom is to be drawing inspiration from indoor architecture and taking that outside. So again, with the pergola supports, generally on a pergola, they would all be equally spaced and that would look nice, but then you'd have multiple walkways and it wouldn't really be clearly defined. So when I designed this, I wanted to create something that kind of mirrored a cased opening inside. I'm thinking like the historic ones that have like columns or bookcases on either side that kind of create definition but still keep an openness between spaces, you know what I mean? So the idea here is that the seating area will feel a little bit more enclosed and cozy, and then you have this kind of opening up toward the backyard as you pass through the doorway. We're building this pergola entirely out of treated pine to save on cost a little bit here. I think cedar would probably be more durable, but I have prepared myself to restain and seal this every year to preserve it, and I think that's gonna work out okay. This pergola is also a response to one of my major pet peeves about the BBD, is sort of a wide open, undefined space. When we think of interior spaces, you have a place for eating, a place for cooking, a place for sleeping. And even with more open concept spaces, we still want to create those defined zones so that there's some variation and we know what to do in there, and it doesn't just feel like this liminal weird space. So while I think it was a great decision to bring this deck all up to one level to keep things open and to maximize the space, the pergola is going to help divide this big deck into two areas. One is kind of a seating area and the other is like an open transition to the yard grilling area. As we were choosing the dimensions for the pergola and the placement of the supports for the pergola, we were thinking about the pieces that were going to be placed here. I want to do some planters here that go in between those outer support posts to kind of fill that in. So like this, but much bigger. And we wanted to make sure that we kept the pergola area large enough for maybe a kind of sectional outdoor sofa. These chairs that are here, I actually found these down the street on the street. Someone put them out by the trash, and even if they don't work for this room, I figured I would pick them up and save them from the trash and maybe donate them or sell them if they don't work. I don't know. Let me know what you think about these chairs. Can we make these work or should I let them go? So yeah, whether you're building from scratch or breaking up a larger space into zones, I think it's a good idea to really think about what furniture is gonna go there. It's kind of like when you see a house that has a bedroom and clearly the builder did not think about where the bed was gonna go because there's no obvious place to put it. Like, that's weird, right? We gotta be thinking about how the furniture is gonna be laid out in the space. Okay, we're ready to stain. Now, choosing the right outdoor stain can make a big difference for turning a BBD into something that feels really custom and beautiful. So I actually sampled a couple different stains here. I'm not usually a sample person when it comes to paint and things. I'm usually just choose a swatch and go. But when it comes to stain, I think that samples are a must because you never really know how that's gonna read on your wood in the light and all the other factors going into it. So I sampled a couple different stains here and landed on this one from Behr. This is called Russet. This is one of their popular colors that you can buy pre-mixed, and I get why, because I think it's a really beautiful, warm, reddish kind of brown. I wanted something more warm and red here to kind of kill that yellowy undertone that the wood has going on already. And I also really like how this stain color works with the colors that I've chosen in the conservatory. I think sometimes we think of the inside of our house and the outside as being separate spaces, but I think it's great to carry the same color palette indoors and outdoors to blend that together, again with that kind of gradient concept. Now, the staining process here was awful because it's been raining here every single day. We're having that like blazing hot and then summer storm weather pattern. And so I had to do this in multiple goes whenever I got a chance. And I just barely got this finished in time to share it with you.
Whenever I start staining, it starts raining.
Now, my final thought here when it comes to building an outdoor space is the same place that I start with working on any room within my house as well, and that's beginning with the story of the room. How do you want to feel in the room, and what makes you feel that way? Do we want this to feel wide open or intimate? Is it more of a secret garden, or a Zen temple, or a California vineyard? Even if we're limited by materials and safety standards and the existing architecture that we're working with, little details can add up to a lot in an outdoor space to bring forward that story of how you want to live in that room.
Also, Editing Andrew here, popping in to remind you that we did complete the deck and the railings a couple months back, and so those had time to fully dry out, so they were ready for stain. The pergola just went in last week, so we will stain that at a later date. It looks a little weird right now to have two different colors going on. It's going to be so much more immersive and beautiful when it's all one shade, but for now, you get the idea.
So now that the deck is mostly done, again, we don't have stairs yet, I can't wait to start furnishing this space, bringing in plants and outdoor furniture and lighting that's going to continue to bring that story together and make this space even more unique. Even without all of those other elements, the space here is private, it's immersive, it feels connected to my home, it feels like an extension of the conservatory, and it already tells a story beyond the BBD. All right, everybody, I hope you love how this back deck project is coming along. If you want to stay tuned for the progress when we furnish the space and finish it up, be sure that you hit the subscribe button, like this video, hype this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.